let's go into your reading. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm picking up before we start the cards. Okay, I'm gonna go into this because I definitely feel you are getting some guidance here. You're getting something coming through via, you know, somebody that has passed on. So like some medium energies coming through. Okay, so let me just talk about this. So first of all, we do have a situation here. It denotes like an empty victory, okay? The Five of Swords usually indicates some type of a conflict, usually of a verbal nature, in which you end up in a no-win situation, okay? One person is gaining at the expense of the other two. So overall, it is a victory on your end that might be harmful to other people. It's an air energy and it's linked up here with the Queen of Swords. So I definitely feel, you know, there is a situation here, possibly with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, their sun, moon, or their rising, and they come off as someone who's very strict, very stern, very cold, and very like disenchanted with life, okay? So you might be dealing with somebody like this where you feel like, I do sense a little bit of envy coming through from not so much from this particular card, but from the combination of the cards that are falling out. You might have achieved a victory of your own doing, or a victory where you are kind of like thrust in the spotlight. And I do sense there's some type of skepticism coming through from this person. They might be acting out of jealousy, they might be acting out of resentment, or they might feel as if they might question your authority, okay? So if this is coming through as a colleague, a supervisor especially, just know that it is in their nature to be very, very inquisitive. It is in their nature to also like have their guard up a lot all the time. They seem as if they're defensive, but that's just the nature of the air sign. So, you know, try to work collaboratively and cooperatively with this person, because I do feel they come with a lot of ideas, a lot of expertise. They might seem a little bit cold, a little bit cutthroat, but I do feel that they, if you're working, collaborating with them in any way, the manners in which you both conduct yourselves are very different. So it's going to require a lot of maneuvering, a lot of readjustment, and a lot of adjustment in order to work with this person, okay? For others of you who might be going through some type of battle with this person, this could be, you know, like a long-standing dispute, some type of long-standing type of a situation where there might be dispute over resources, over finances, over land, over property, which might lead me to believe this could be a spouse, a former spouse for a lot of you. And this could be male or female, and I feel like there is a self-serving energy associated with this. So be a little bit mindful, and I do feel this person is a little bit cunning. Be mindful, stay ahead of the game, because I do sense that they have some wise counsel on their side that's going to be able to either drag on the situation or get a result in which they are very cutthroat about how they proceed with it, okay? So this serves as a little bit of a warning if you have been dealing with this situation within the past few months, or dealing with a person like this for the past few months. I do feel that it's going to take like I wouldn't say like um I wouldn't say like sweet talk, but I do feel that it does take like a lot of sincerity and a lot of like coming to terms with a situation, or at least, you know, expressing yourself in a very, very sincere, in a very open-minded, open-hearted manner in order to win this person over, okay? So if you're a contractor, for example, and this is one of your potential clients and you really want to win them over, come to them, approach them with facts, solid facts, because they are very rational. They don't, you can't do an emotional appeal to them and expect them to invest, for example. However, you can project yourself in a way where you are emotionally appealing, where you are very sincere, very honest, very open, and you speak from the heart. I do sense that's going to be able to breach their defenses, okay? So that's what I feel coming through. On the other hand, I feel like when it comes to communication overall, it is very, very important for you to, if you feel like someone has has tried to walk out in the past, okay? If someone has like been very, very self-serving in the past, particularly an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, it is really important to draw boundaries with this person. Say what you need to say and leave things alone, okay? So there's no need to reiterate. There's no need to like reassess. There's no need to draw these gray areas. So be very concise, very succinct with your communication in order to get your point across, because I feel like they're looking for a verbal challenge and you might not be well equipped to deal with this energy, okay? So if it's a bothersome energy, just know that say your piece and let it go, all right? Say your piece and let it go. Now, in terms of, I feel like this is more emotional, mental health, physical health as well. In terms of your health and your well-being, we do have the Ten of Swords in the Strength card. For some reason, I'm feeling a lot of like overexertion with a lot of you mentally as well. There's a lot of anxieties, nervousness, worrying, a lot of excessive worrying. So this is, you know, the Ten of Swords also indicates like potentially people recuperating after a surgery, after an illness, or, you know, just recuperating because they're under the weather. What I feel is in this card, linked up with the Strength card, it basically indicates a situation where either there's a lot of mental energy affecting your physical health. So mental health affecting physical health. So for example, if you are in an environment where, you know, work is very stressful, you would find yourself getting sick a lot more and also needing a lot more time to recuperate from the illnesses, okay? So exercise your mental health and try to restore your mental health in a way where you can calm down that nervous. So it's really important not to dwell on the negativity from other people, and at least, you know, don't let their words cut you to the point where you're afraid to interact with them. You're like treading on eggshells. Just be very mindful about that. Don't let the negativity affect your physical well-being, okay? What I'm also feeling here is linking up with the Strength card. I feel like the Strength card is a situation where both of these cards appearing in conjunction with one another. It's sort of like, you know, like Taurus, you are a sign that is very, very patient, okay? You're very, very patient with people. You're very patient about, and you're very understanding about people's circumstances, okay? And you don't get mad very easily, but when you do get pushed over the edge, you tend to be explosive. But you would say what you need to say, and then you know, you forgive very easily. So once it takes a lot to push you to that point, but once it gets to that point, you might state very, very matter of factly how you feel about someone. If they're pushing for it, if they're pushing your buttons, and if they're doing this continuously, I do feel that you are in a position where you are going to give them a piece of your mind. And when that happens, the truth can be very, very hurtful, can really cut, can really really hurt somebody's self-esteem. And I don't feel this energy is coming through from your end. I do feel like a lot of you know this about yourself and you try your best to curb it, okay? And you try your best not to address problems as they creep up rather than waiting into that moment of tension, conflict building up, and then you start to, you know, overwhelm yourself, become overwhelmed as a result. I do feel that both of these cards together indicates to me that sometimes the truth that we are digging for, that we are trying so hard to bring to the surface, that we are trying so hard to unveil or uncover, sometimes it can be very, very hurtful. So if you're out there digging for answers, just be prepared that the answers will come, but it might be, you know, sometimes like you might find out a little bit too much information and you might realize, I wish I hadn't known, okay? So I feel there's something like that that's coming through, and I do feel it potentially coming through from someone who is that is quite close to you. And as a result, it might leave you in a little bit of a daze, like, now that I have the information I've been looking for so long, what do I do with it? How do I move forward? So I definitely feel this is a situation where you are, if you're out there digging for information, I do feel some information coming to light. I feel a lot of A lot of information coming through regarding somebody's misdeeds is coming up for a reexamination. And just know that if you're out there digging, I do feel you're going to find the answers that you need, but it's not really about the what's coming up. It's not about the information that's being revealed. It's more about, well, you were asking for it. Now, what are you going to do given the information? And I do sense one of the main things that's coming through is that once the cat's out of the bag, you know, speaking, and I feel for a lot of you, this might be on the work front, where you find out somebody is doing something kind of shady, or kind of like covertly behind the scenes, and you're like stumbling upon this information. I feel that it's basically asking you, you got what you asked for, and it's really important for you to forge ahead in a way where, once you tell yourself, okay, if I have this information, if I just want to know, and once you already know, stick through with whatever your initial intention is, okay? So we have here the Seven of Pentacles and the Emperor. And I feel that the Emperor, once again, coming through, and I feel like this is what I mean earlier when I said you do have some spirits coming through that is trying to guide the reading, or that's trying to steer you in a specific direction. So I feel like a lot of you might, for example, you might be negotiating for a pay raise, and you realize the company, whoever the upper management, the supervisor is, they might tell you, we're not capable of giving you this raise because we simply don't have the money. Or they might tell you, well, we can't give you a raise realistically, mainly because your supervisor said these are the areas that you need to work on. So I feel there's a process here where you're trying to find out something. And I feel like the truth comes to light, and you realize that, okay, well, what do I do now? It's one of those things where you might find out the company might not be able to give you a raise because they haven't got the extra funds, and they might be serious about it. Or you might find out that, oh, my supervisor thinks this about me, and you might, get that copy of your performance review when you're looking for an opportunity for a raise, and you might realize, well, these are the areas I need to work on, and you might take offense to that. So I feel like it could be a double-edged sword in which, you're finding out the information, but what you do with the information, that's the hard part, okay? And I feel it's being echoed in these two cards as well, and I feel like it's more on the work situation, on the finance situation as well, all right? A lot of you might be feeling as if you've got like a very dear supervisor or some upper management person in your work environment that you really look up to, that you work really well under, that you really care for, and you just really, you revere them, you look up to them. I feel like they might be leaving your work environment, okay? So they might be retiring, they might be recruited for another company. And you feel that the work environment is going to be chaotic once they leave, because they're like the glue that held everything together. So I definitely feel some like strong figure is leaving your work environment, and as a result of it, you don't know what you want to do right now, because you can't really imagine the workplace running smoothly as a result of them leaving. So I definitely feel like a whole thing about, a passage. Someone is like due for somewhere else. There might be like a going away party coming through for this person, and there might be a lot of information that comes through at this going away party as well. So if this sounds like it's resonating with you, I feel like a lot of information coming through as a result of this going away situation, okay? You might also find out why they're leaving. If it's not retirement, if it's not just for another job, you might find out that they don't have overall a positive view of the current company or the current work situation, and they might, try to cut their losses by shifting into something else. And I feel like it leaves you in a space where you are at a crossroads. You don't know what to do, and you don't know if you should take their word, because it seems to me like you trust this person. You don't know if you should take their word or if you should continue to stick it out where you are, okay? So what's coming through is, I feel for a lot of you, if you are in that situation, okay, I do sense the universe is supporting you to move on to a new location, to move on to something new, to move on to a new venture or the next phase of your life. So it's basically telling you here with the King of Pentacles and the Prince of Swords, this is like branching off. This is like going off somewhere into a new environment. Okay. This is also communication, news coming through via an authority figure in your work environment. And it's also a situation where you're getting possibly being headhunted for another position, or someone is coming through to give you a lot of insights, a lot of clarity, and a lot of stability where you currently are. So if you find yourself, information coming to light, it might really drastically change the direction of your life. I see a lot of, because you're an earth sign, usually when I do readings for earth sign, I feel a lot of stability, especially with Virgos. The Virgo readings are usually very easy to get through. But I definitely feel for this month, and you're also an earth sign, I feel like everything is very much up in the air, and the up in the air energy is as a result of another person, like a lot of information coming through. And then you're going to have, it's kind of like destabilizing information that's going to make you re-examine, what do I know? What do I need to do? So it's more about, it's not so much about the information, but it's more like, what do I do now? So I feel like that energy coming through. So I feel that there is going to be other job opportunities out there for those of you who are looking. I definitely feel there is something lucrative coming through as well. And I do see communication coming through from potentially a new employer or a new job opportunity, a new person that is headhunting you for a specific position, okay? What I'm also sensing as well is there is going to be communication coming in for you from an earth sign, so another Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And I definitely feel this is something very, very solid where you are both going to be able to build something together. So in whatever capacity this is coming through, I do feel that it's going to be in your best interest to look at this situation. And if you are somewhat involved in whatever capacity with another earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, it's basically saying here, the person, it seems to me, is very solid, but I definitely feel it's saying here, have a plan B. So whatever you're planning, it says to have a plan B, okay? Things coming to light, or new things that will really shake your foundation. I do feel it is affecting another earth sign in your midst, and it's really important to be vigilant and to have like a plan B. That's what they're saying. It's not good or bad, but I definitely feel like it's just important overall in life, okay? Now, in terms of your advice, Taurus, we have the Tower, the Three of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. So I'm going to talk about this first because I feel like this card is coming out very, very strongly, and it's basically the reassurance card, okay? I feel for a lot of you, there might be some challenges coming through for this month, and a lot of it has to do with people in your periphery. So that's when I say people in your periphery, it could mean acquaintances, okay? Not so much the people that you are very emotionally rooted in. So family members, significant other, like people you are heavily emotionally invested in. I don't feel the surprises, the changes, the news, the information is coming through from significant people. I feel like it's people coming in the periphery of your life that's bringing in a lot of information, and you're going to have to decide what you want to do. However, the reassurance card is basically telling me to tell you basically that no matter what's happening around you, you've got the love, you've got the support, and you've got like the full, not only from friends and family and loved ones, but you have some very strong divine protection coming through from your, from people that have crossed on, okay, is what I'm feeling. And I got this very strongly when I was shuffling the cards, that it's going to be an emotional roller coaster of a month. And I do feel the highs are very highs. The lows, I feel it's going to hit one time in this month, and it's going to dissipate. It's going to go away because you're going to realize who your friends are. You're going to realize who really loves you and who has always been there. So it's not like you turn around and everyone jumps ship and abandons you. No, you're going to have a lot of love and support. And I mean, it's overflowing love and support. So you're going to feel quite emotional this month. And I definitely feel that, you've always like worn your heart on your sleeves in the past. And I feel like this is the month in which you know who has been there to reciprocate for you. So I definitely feel a major, major important milestone that's coming through. Milestones are not always bad. It can be a little bit of an adjustment. I feel like that's what it is. It's an adjustment because once again, we have the tower as the advice, and the tower indicates like major changes, okay? And the major changes are not always bad either. Major changes to me, this card can usually come out when, someone is moving house, when someone is making a major career change, when someone is taking on a major, major like transition in their life. So for example, um, shifting homes, getting married, moving into another environment where it's very different and you're going to have to make do and you're going to have to make some adjustments. That's what I feel coming through. But more than anything, I definitely feel a lot for a lot of you. It is on the financial front. Somebody might be somebody you look up to, that is your supervisor, someone you admire. I feel like they might be shifting out of a work environment, and they might tell you, I'm doing this, I love the work, but here's what's really happening behind the scenes. So you're getting some I feel like you're getting some insider information, and it might really, it might make you want to jump ship as well, is what I'm feeling. Mainly because you trust this person and they're giving you this information about, who you're working for, and it might leave a sour taste in your mouth, and you might want to jump ship. You might want to find something else. So I definitely feel major adjustments coming through, okay? What I'm also feeling here with the Tower and the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is a card about expansion, okay? So this is like expanding a business, taking on a partnership, taking on clients. But overall, it's about honing your skills and expanding your business. It's a situation where you are in a position of high status, high authority, and other people are seeking you for your expertise or for your advice. A lot of you might be in a situation where you're expanding physically, expanding the home unit via, children being added into the home environment unexpectedly, for example, with the Tower. It could be family members moving in as well, or, doing something. I feel like it deals with contracts, it deals with paperwork, and it comes out of the blue. And you're going to have to like think fast on your toes what you need to do, okay? So rather than embodying this energy where, the King of Pentacles is someone who wears their heart on their sleeves, they're very, very ready and willing to offer. And they might also be slow, but very deliberate when they actually do something. I feel that the energy here is more conducive for the Knight of Swords, which is more about grabbing opportunities when they come in, being adventurous, being brave, being bold. And whoever is working at cross purposes with you, it's really important that, you don't need to play nice. You don't need to come in and appease them and do some type of a peace offering. If they are meddlesome, if they are difficult, or if they are bringing you down in any way, it's really important to, exercise the energy of this Knight of Swords. It's the fastest moving knight in the deck. And it's basically telling you that, jump in and rectify a situation and say your piece, and especially defend yourself if you have been wronged in a situation, okay? So I feel like that energy is very, very important. But I feel like some information coming to light, and you're going to know where you stand with very, very specific people in your life, okay?